Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm talking about episode 5 from season 3, The Romance, where John Boy teaches Olivia to drive, Olivia takes art classes, and Olivia finds herself with an unexpected suitor. If you're enjoying these, please do hit like and subscribe. Early in the episode, we see Olivia doing some watercolor painting out near Drusilla's pond. She is trying to recreate Walton's mountain. John Boy comes upon her. He tries to sneak a peek at her painting, but she won't show it to him. She's self-conscious and says she's not very good, and she was never formally trained. On the drive back home, John Boy suggests perhaps she take some art classes. Olivia sort of scoffs about that, but John Boy explains, no, they have free night classes in Charlottesville at the high school. So there's no reason why she couldn't do that. And when she raises the question of how would she get there, John Boy suggests he teach her to drive. That evening at the dinner table, Olivia mentions to the family that she would like to go take these art classes. Grandma thinks it's ridiculous that, she doesn't have time or places in the home, raising her children, taking care of the house. She asks John about it, and he's just curious about why she would be interested. And she says that she thinks it would make her a more interesting person, and she would like that. John has no objection, so the plan will proceed. I had forgotten about this subplot involving Mary Ellen, a little short-lived romance. I think it lasted kind of this one episode, but I am going out walking with Dawn Millman, who intends to be a doctor, and since I intend to be a nurse, it seems like a perfect fit. John Boy takes Olivia into town, and she signs up for her art class. It's a beginning watercolor class. And then John Boy begins the task of teaching Olivia to drive, which involves any number of other people piping in. John thinks he should teach her, Grandpa thinks he should teach her, and John Boy is teaching her, and we have this very cute little sequence where the car theoretically is out of control. Olivia is driving all over the front yard, dodging various different children who are diving out of the way. And I just thought it was very humorous that Ivan Dixon created this wonderful humorous sequence. Now, in this case, you can see at times John Boy in the passenger seat. It's clearly him, but you cannot see who's driving. So I am betting it was a stunt person. You do see various shots inside the car where you can see Olivia and John Boy and what's going on in there, and he's shouting directions at her. And I've been asked about driving those vehicles, and they were a bit of a challenge. They had various different kinds of controls. Most of them were stick shifts, and the steering was very difficult, very, very tight, hard steering, no power steering there. So they had their little quirks, and each one you sort of had to learn how to drive that particular vehicle. Olivia gets her driver's license, and then she goes off to attend her first art class. Her art teacher is actor David Selby, who you have seen in numerous TV shows and movies. And he was involved in another one of Lorimar, our production company, another show of theirs, Falcon Crest. Meanwhile, Mary Ellen has once again gone out walking with Dawn Millman and gets home at the late hour of 9 p.m. And John is none too happy to have to be staying up waiting for her because he has to get up so early in the morning. And she said, I'm sorry, we just lost track of the time. And John says, well, what could you possibly have found to talk about for so long? And she says, all dreamily, sutures, as if sutures are the most romantic topic in the world, which I guess to an aspiring nurse might have been the case. Olivia stays after her art class. The teacher misunderstands why when she says yes, that she wanted to talk with him. What she really wanted was to show him her picture of the mountain that she's been working on. He talks her into going and having a cup of coffee. On a subsequent night, Mary Ellen and Dawn are once more spending an evening. They are sitting on the porch out front and talking about all sorts of things. And Grandma comes out and keeps trying to get Mary Ellen to come in and go to sleep because Grandma wants to go to bed. Mary Ellen ends up in an argument with Dawn because she says maybe she'll become a doctor, and Dawn says that's ridiculous. that women can't be doctors, and Mary Ellen basically tells them to go jump in a lake. Then she argues with Grandma, which is pretty typical between Mary Ellen and Grandma. They did butt heads a lot. And Grandma agrees that women have no place being doctors. They should be nurses. And Mary Ellen, of course, asserts herself and says that she will become a doctor. And indeed, she did. During her conversation with her teacher, Joshua, Olivia explains that she considers herself ordinary, not in a bad way, but that she has a particular life that she has chosen and she's happy with it. Joshua can't imagine why she wouldn't want to run off to Paris and become an artist and spend her days focusing on herself and her own pursuits. This is just an alien concept to Olivia, who very much loves her family and is happy in that role that she has chosen. I loved when there were storylines where Olivia was outside of the house. I think Michael really enjoyed those also. She felt a little frustrated at times, feeling that mostly what she did was hang out in the kitchen and serve coffee and meals and stuff. So these kinds of storylines, I think, were a wonderful challenge and exciting for her to get to work on different sorts of storylines that were not strictly around the house. Still angry about her argument with Dawn, Mary Ellen snaps at Olivia. She is in a hurry to get off for a day trip to a museum, and Mary Ellen is annoyed that she doesn't have time to bother with Mary Ellen's problem. Olivia does take the time, despite the fact that it's making her late, to go out and find out what is going on with Mary Ellen and to give her some good advice about how to deal with Dawn. Mary Ellen brightens up and then says, "Mama, you need to get going. You're going to be late," and says she will take care of getting the kids off to school. As Olivia arrives running late for their departure for the field trip, I noticed that where this car drove in to meet up with the other students, you see a building in the background. I believe, based on my recollection of the Warner Brothers studio lot, that building that you see there is actually a soundstage, and I believe it was even stage 26, the soundstage where we filmed all of our interior sets. While Olivia has enjoyed a wonderful day at the museum, back home, Grandpa and John are in the living room. John is a little worried about what's keeping Olivia. She's running late. Thought she'd be home by dinner time. Meanwhile, on the front porch, Elizabeth is trying to read a book that Olivia had been reading with her, and she can't quite get it. It's a little above her reading level, and she wants John Boy to help her. John Boy has things he's trying to do, but he agrees to read to Elizabeth. And I love how Ivan interwove these two scenes. When we're now in the living room, Grandpa convinces John to play a game of checkers. While they are in the living room, you see through the living room window to the porch where you can see John Boy's arm moving and the motion of his shoulder. So you have a real sense of that outside porch scene being connected to the inside scene, and you hear John Boy reading this story in the background. They would have done that audio separately, that you would not have heard that during the scene they were filming in the living room. They would have layered that sound in post-production. At the end of the museum trip, Joshua has misunderstood Olivia's enthusiasm over the museum and thinks that it is actually her enthusiasm over him, and he makes a pass at her, leaning in to kiss her. Olivia is stunned by this and immediately gets in her car and drives home. As Mary Ellen, Grandma, and Olivia are in the kitchen and a comment is made about Olivia going to her art class, she says she's not going, and she exits. Grandma has been very vocal about thinking that it's ridiculous that Olivia isn't home taking care of the family. And of course, I had also been tough on Mama. But after Olivia walks out, I love this silent exchange between Grandma and Mary Ellen, where Grandma feels a bit, I think, guilty about it and feels that perhaps she is responsible now for Olivia choosing to forego the classes. And my look is just a little potentially accusatory and a little bit of, "So, are you happy now, Grandma?" So much can be said and expressed and conveyed without any words. When John asks Olivia about why she isn't going back, she finally tells him what happened. John is annoyed, mostly because he feels that he wouldn't want Olivia to be bothered like that. They talk it through. I love how sane and trusting the two of them were about their relationship. They totally knew where they stood with each other. John feels that Olivia was enjoying her art classes and that she shouldn't have to give them up because of this misunderstanding, that she should go back and she should explain herself and the position and just straighten things out with the young man. So a nice comment really on the strength of their marriage. Joshua comes to find Olivia at her house because he wants to straighten things out with her. He comes in and has a conversation with Olivia. Olivia tells him about her life, about her children, her knitting, all the various different things around her house, and how she really does love her life and has chosen it and is not sorry about her choice. John at one point comes in from the back porch and stands and overhears a part of this before Olivia realizes he's there. And then he comes in and he meets Joshua. And Joshua now gets the message and realizes that Olivia was telling him the truth and that clearly she has a wonderful relationship with John and she's happy where she is. As he walks out, heads back to his car, Mary Ellen comes by and takes a moment to appreciate the good-looking young man. As Mary Ellen and Olivia stand on the porch watching Joshua drive off, Mary Ellen notices that Don is coming by and she isn't quite sure what to do, and Olivia suggests she just talk to him. And indeed, Mary Ellen does, and we find out that Don accepts that Mary Ellen could become a doctor, and the two go off walking once again. And that's what I have for you for this segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons about the episode The Romance. I'll be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more Ask Judy. Thanks for watching.